Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Minutes, our last episode for this academic year, our season finale. So we wanted to finish strong. But before we introduce today's special guest, I wanted to again congratulate all of the members of Delaware Tech's class of 2025 on their tremendous achievement. We are incredibly proud of the grit, determination, and effort you all demonstrated to successfully cross the finish line at graduation and earn your degree. We can't wait to see what the future holds for each and every one of you. So again, congratulations. This morning, as a special way to celebrate that class, we are joined by Amara Cropper, a member of our Delaware Tech softball team and a recent graduate from that class of 2025. Fun fact, she received her degree in a special mini graduation ceremony in Alabama, where the team was playing in the 2025 NJCAA Division II Softball World Series. A graduate of Sussex Central High School, she's been successful both on the field and in the classroom, and we're especially happy that she is our guest today. Amara, thanks again for being here this morning. This is a great treat for us. You got a great story to tell. You had a tremendous season, not just as a student, but also as an athlete, and we'll get into the highlights of that. But talk a little bit about high school.
Yes.
So what high school did you go to, and what were some of the highlights of that?
I graduated in 2023 from Sussex Central High School. Fortunately, I was a part of 2 state championship teams that got to go, and we didn't come out on top, but it was an opportunity to even get to be there and to play with those type of caliber players, so that was awesome.
So then you had a decision to make about going to college.
Mm-hmm. It was about my junior year that I decided that I wanted to maybe take a couple teaching classes for my senior year just to see how it was, because in the back of my mind I always knew that I loved kids and I wanted to kind of explore that a little bit, but it wasn't until my senior year that I was like, okay, I'm going to take the Delaware teaching pathway, and because of that, we had a couple guest speakers from Delaware Tech. Dr. Keim, he got to come in and speak to us briefly about the BSc program and what it's like at Delaware Tech as an education major. So that right there, I was like, okay, I can definitely see myself going to Delaware Tech. And when I decided to do that, I found out that I could play 2 more years for softball. So
Great.
That was awesome.
So how was the transition from high school to college, first on the academic side?
The academic side, I would say that it's somewhat different to how it was in high school just because we use a lot of different platforms. I adapted to it quickly, and throughout the second semester at college, I started to see myself excel.
Good for you.
Thank you.
What happened during that second semester?
I got the dean's list.
You did?
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
hard
made
work.
the all-academic team for softball.
Awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
great. So what about the transition to athletics from high school to the college level?
Just because we were a Georgetown-based high school, we got to see a lot of Del Tech games, especially my senior year. We had to play on Delaware Tech's field just because our field was getting torn down, so I felt a little comfortable. And knowing a lot of the girls I grew up with were going there too, that I played with and against, that was awesome to get to play with them again.
It definitely looks like you have a chemistry on that team
Yes.
when you play together.
It's nice too, just because our group of girls, we clicked just instantly. It was really nice.
That's great. So you are a student athlete,
Yes.
and we use that term a lot at Delaware Tech, but you heard that term and knew what it meant at a very early age.
Yes.
Why don't you tell the story about your middle school coach?
So Zach Murphy, he was my 6th grade middle school coach at Millsboro Middle School, and he had a meeting with us as players, and he had said, look, you guys are student athletes. You have to realize that student comes before athlete. So whether it's showing up in class or showing up just for your peers or anything like that, you have to be there 110%. Athletics, they come and go, but you're always going to be a student, and what you do is going to capitalize when you go to college, high school, and through the rest of your life. So I really tried to build off of that throughout my time in my education.
Well, clearly you did,
Yes.
right? Because you're obviously a star performer in the classroom, but also on the athletic field as well. The softball team had a great year.
Yes.
So what were some of the highlights of the season, even before you got to the National World Series?
I would say the highlight of my season, and I think that I can speak for a lot of the girls on our team, was definitely districts that was held at our campus. You know, we were coming off of a loss the previous weekend from regionals, and we were a little down on ourselves. And we just realized that, look, what do we have to lose? We're going against the 6th nationally ranked team in the nation. So it was definitely a nail biter, to say the least. And you were there, so you can vouch for me when I say that. But
awesome game.
Getting down to that 7th inning and knowing that we had come back and we were up 4-2, you just don't realize it until that moment that is probably going to be one of those stories that you're going to tell your kids, your grandchildren, and everybody else that you get to talk about softball with. So
what I love about that story is, as third baseman, you had a little bit of extra motivation going into that later inning. You want to tell us what provided the motivation for that?
I had been standing at third base, and I heard one of the players say to either a parent or
one of the visiting players.
Yes, one of the visiting players from Lewisburg. They were talking to one of the adults in the dugout, and they had said something about, "What are you going to do next week?" "Oh, we're getting ready to pack up for Alabama." So it just lit a fire under me, and I was like, I just wanted that much more because, like I said, what do I have to lose?
Right. This, I had to point out, where is the softball from?
That softball is my last ever home run. So I hit that against Lackawanna on, I believe, the regional weekend, and that just closed the door for us. I feel like once I hit that, we knew that we were going to go to the championship. So. Yeah.
You won that game and then went off to Alabama. So talk about that experience.
We left for Oxford, Alabama, and we hadn't come out on top, but even getting to be there, that's going to be something pretty cool to tell.
Not a bad thing to do, right?
No.
Yeah. I hope you share the story of graduating in Alabama.
Yes.
We were in Georgetown while the Owens campus was graduating, and you and your teammates were in Alabama, where Coach Guy put together a nice graduation ceremony for you and your family. So how was that?
You know, at first, I was a little down that I didn't get to graduate with my peers that I worked so hard with for the past 2 years, but because I got into the BSE program, I knew that I was going to get another opportunity to walk across that stage, win a Delaware Tech cap and gown. So knowing that we were going to Alabama for the World Series, that to me was so awesome. And to know that they had held a little ceremony for us in the hotel lobby, I'm really appreciative of that.
You've talked about the BSE program. You're going to graduate. You're obviously going to do well academically there. What's after that? What do you want to do after you graduate from the BSE program? So
my senior year, I got an opportunity to intern at Georgetown Elementary School, which is my home district, Indian River School District, and I'm a substitute there, so I'm thinking I might come back and I'm going to teach either 1st through 3rd grade at the Indian River School District, whether it's at East Millsboro where I went, or Georgetown, or wherever they offer me an opportunity. So I'm excited for that.
That's great. We can't thank you enough for coming in and sharing your story. Obviously, being a student athlete is very demanding. It requires grit, determination, discipline, hard work, all the above. And obviously, you've succeeded in both the classroom and on the field. So thanks so much for coming and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this year's Monday Morning Minutes. We hope you've enjoyed this new series as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Have a relaxing and safe summer. We can't wait to see you all right back here in August. Thanks again for watching.